Hi everyone, Noor Tagore here, and you're listening to In Progress, an imperfect journey navigated. And this podcast is presented by Girl Boss Radio in partnership with Tumi. So, over the course of 10 episodes, we will be going on a journey together. We'll be deep diving with the best and the brightest female founders, entrepreneurs, and creatives out there, and offering you the motivation you need to transition from where you are to where you want to be. These brilliant women, and I mean brilliant, will be dishing out real-world advice for self-development on the go, so you can dare to change direction, and so you can live a more fulfilling and productive life. You know, the life you deserve. Let's go. My name is Noor Tagore, and I am a journalist and speaker. But before I got to where I am today, I had a lot of ups and downs throughout my journey, and I want to bring to you incredible women who are going to be sharing parts of their journey and how they got to where they are today and the secrets that they discovered along the way. This has been something that I've been passionate about for years, and I'm constantly on this journey of discovery and learning about myself, my potential, and really understanding my true purpose. So we're kicking this podcast off with the first episode on finding your purpose. And I truly believe that your purpose is something that you've been familiar with for a very long time, but sometimes you lose that sense of purpose when you are influenced by other people, whether that's family members or insecurities or fears. And we really want to find that place again and bring strength to that place, because I know you have it in you. We all have it in us. And I think that's the perfect way for us to kick off this conversation and journey. This is an on-the-go podcast, so I'm hoping you're listening to this while you are on your way to do something incredible or coming from doing something incredible, but just know that we are going to be with you along this journey. And I'm excited to talk to Layla Delia today about finding your purpose. She is a spiritual writer and practitioner, wellness educator, and the founder of VibrateHigherDaily.com. She started out in a field where it was easy for people to be telling her who to be and what to be and kind of navigate her own journey for her, and she had to get to a place through some dark moments to really find out what her true purpose is. So, welcome to our first episode. I'm just incredibly thrilled to be talking to you. How are you?
I am so good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. My heart is so happy to be here today.
Oh, reflected. It's on both sides of this.
Just like the energy, like our little
I know, they're
like just like connecting.
Yes.
I just want to kind of get into like the sense of finding purpose, because I think that word just means a different thing to different people. How do you see purpose and passion? Similar or different?
I see them they're exactly the same.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're exactly the same. And you know, you can't have one without the other. Like your purpose is always going to be something you're passionate about. And like you said, I say the same exact thing. Passion can come from pain, or it can come from joy. It can come from, inspiration. And your passion will definitely be, your purpose will definitely be something you're passionate about, whether it's through pain, through joy, through love, and that's a purpose. And then, from there, you just say, how can I respond? What gifts do I have to respond? Because then that's what turns a passion into a purpose, when you actually take action and respond.
So when was the first time you remember thinking about the word purpose when it came to terms with life?
Yeah, the biggest moment I remember was one of my lowest moments, and just thinking like, okay, this is not it. Life is more than this, but I have no idea like what that more is and what it looks like, how to go get it, how to find it. But I knew it had something to do with purpose, because my life was never about my purpose. It was always maybe about other people's purposes and just surviving, that type of thing. So Purpose was really the thing that came to me and stuck with me. I just always, something innately let me know that that was a roadmap out of like the life I was living, or, you know, just the unfulfillment I was experiencing in life. And so from then on, it was like, what is my purpose? And that turned into its own journey, you know, figuring out what that was as well.
Well, so you talk about like a low point in your life. And I think for a lot of people, that's when thinking about your purpose and finding it seems to be the only answer. Can you paint me a picture of what that low point in your life looked like?
Oh my goodness. And granted, there were a few before like it really caught on, like, oh, okay, this is the path. So like, for instance, one was in a hospital for 7 days, just sick because my life had got to that point to where I was stressed out to the point of a physical illness manifesting.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so I'm laying in a hospital bed for 7 days and thinking, okay, when I leave here, I'm going back to a crappy relationship, a crappy life. And even though I hated being in that hospital, it was peace. Like, what was going on in my life wasn't happening. And I share on my website, on Instagram, that at that time, I was, just a survivor at that time. I wasn't an overcomer then, I am now, but at the time, I wasn't an overcomer yet. I was a survivor of domestic violence and, a cycle of bad relationships, dysfunctional relationships. And until you get the lesson, it repeats, same experience, different person. So all that. And so my body shut down and was like, no, girl, we are not going to do this. We're going to give you an illness. So it got me sick to the point where I was out of the house, in the hospital, and and that's really the turning point for my whole journey. In the early mid 2000s is when all that catapulted even to like where I am today. It's just so magical how that happened. But I surrendered there in that hospital that night. I was like, I just want to find purpose. I don't want to go back to like
surrender
this crazy
is like
life.
the key word in what you just said.
It is. Surrender. You have to surrender, because it's like this life that you've crafted for yourself subconsciously, usually, because, we're running on autopilot. We're doing what mom, dad, communities, friends, everyone else says is good, even maybe pop culture. But is that really who you are? Is that your own North Star? And if it's not, you're not living, to the compass of your true purpose. And it's someone else's. That's why you always feel off. You never feel like you're going in the right direction. You're maybe going back in circles.
Yeah.
You're repeating directions, and it's just a mess.
Well, not a lot of people who follow you might know that you were an actress before.
Yeah.
Because you went from a world where you had to pretend to be certain characters and pretend to live certain lives. And oftentimes people who are looking up to actors forget that they're also humans who have problems and who have real life issues. How do you feel like living that one life led you to needing to live the life you live today?
Oh, it was so major. I will never forget. There was a time, my little old self in my role, I had one time, we were not too far from here on the CBS lot on Beverly. And it was after a show, a sitcom I was on. And I remember a couple of people in the audience came up, and at the time I was a regular, and they came up and asked for my autograph. And they're like, yeah, we watch the show every week, and we just wanted to meet you and say hi and get your autograph and take a picture, like a real picture, not an Instagram picture back then. It was like a camera. He pulled out an actual camera, and and so it was that long ago. And I just remember feeling like, you want my autograph? Like, my life is a mess, and I'm like, so even in that moment, it was like, people don't know that you could be going through a whole different journey on the inside than what's appearing on the outside. And so just being on the set and, doing all the things, the acting things, and wanting to chase that life and find success there, it was never fulfilling for me. And
what did you think the life
off.
was going to give you?
Oh my goodness, fame, attention, but what I found now is the fame that you are really seeking, it's your own it's your own self-approval, it's your own self-worth. It's, are you famous to yourself? If you just want to use that word.
That's so great. Are you famous to yourself?
Yeah.
I want to be famous to myself.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Are you your own goals? Like, do you look up to yourself, and do you see your own greatness? Because in that world, you're chasing everybody else's, you know, what they think is beautiful and what they think is great and who they think is popular and who they're giving the next role to. So it's always something out there, but never something inner. And so that's really why it never fulfilled me. And at that time, being the young girl I was, I couldn't understand that, and going to auditions, and it's just that whole cycle. But then it's also not just in Hollywood, but it's in life, like in the job world, and out, you know, looking for the job and trying to have the right resume and, you know, have the right outfit at work and get the promotions. It's always trying to fulfill other people's ideas of success for you. But sometimes when you can turn on from the inside out, then no one has to define you. And then these opportunities start coming to you, meeting you, and then you meet life from a more empowered and centered place.
I think that oftentimes it's easy to overlook the fact that you truly being your most authentic self and true to yourself actually ends up bringing in more opportunities and a stronger sense of purpose and like just groundedness in whatever it is that you're pursuing, instead of chasing after. Because when you're chasing after whatever other people are trying to define as the box that you need to fit in, you're always going to be replaceable.
Always.
There's always another girl waiting in the like lobby. There's always another person who's going to like kill the audition too. And you don't end up having that sense of uniqueness and strength because you know who you are.
That's right. Yeah.
How do you navigate having that strong sense of self in a world that does ask for carbon copies more often than blueprints?
Yeah, that's so good. It's just about finding peace with who you are and knowing that's enough. You know, and you will attract your people, your opportunities. If you don't attract them, they weren't for you. You know, they're not for you. Or maybe it's more cultivating you have to do. Maybe it's more preparing you have to do. But take it all with a light heart and know that, you know, like I may show up as a rose. I'm a rose. You're a tulip. You know, maybe another lady is a lily. Like we're not all trying to be the same flower, but we're beautiful flowers from the same garden. And then whatever flower this particular situation is calling for, that's what's needed. But it doesn't mean I'm any less, she's any less. Okay, you know, that's the flower. But we're all beautiful in our own right. And just seeing that, and I'm so just happy with the life that has manifested since. And I tell young girls that, you know, deal with competition, whether it's in Hollywood, modeling, acting, or on social media. Like it's so much of it everywhere. And it really is a energetic sickness to where it's a thing like it's not enough. And we have to look for, you know, instant gratification. And we have to get this self-worth approval from competing. But that's not the case. You know, real life is how real life is where we're able to take our power back and say, no, I'm not competing. I'm just showing up.
Yeah. I know I have found so much peace in knowing that the things that I didn't get were never meant for me.
That's right.
And I remember when I was in college, I had an internship that was basically in the bag. It was at CNN, and I was so excited, and I hadn't gotten like the confirmation letter or what have you, but I was like told that I was going to have it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to move to New York. This is going to change my life. And then I was told I didn't get it. And I remember crying because I was like, oh my gosh, like that was everything that I had planned for. And I did all of this, and I was looking at apartments, and I remember crying once about it. And then 3 days later, I was offered a job as a reporter at a local television station, which had never happened, like a Muslim woman wearing a hijab as a reporter on a local television station ever, like in the history of this country. And I remember 3 days later, I got that job, and I was just like, this is way better than going and getting coffee for some of the anchors at CNN. And after that day, I had never gotten upset over not getting a job opportunity or not getting a travel opportunity or whatever it is, that I realized like this really wasn't meant for me.
Right.
And it makes it easier to celebrate other people's successes. Because when somebody else has something that you would have wanted and you know that you didn't get it, but that person did, you know that that was meant for them.
That's right.
And that something else is waiting for you, whether you feel like it's better or not. But it just brings that sense of inner peace that you were talking about. And that is something that's like priceless. Speaking of finding inspiration, this podcast is brought to you in partnership with our friends at Tumi. Tumi has just launched the most gorgeous line of handbags. And if you're thinking right now, isn't Tumi a luggage brand for those like super stylish business types that know what's what? You're only partially correct. These new bags are seriously so beautiful, the same elegant, timeless aesthetic that Tumi's always been known for, but super adaptable and modern. Whether you're in the market for a gorgeous silhouette in super soft, supple leather or super adaptable nylon, they're the perfect bags for whatever journey you're on. Check them out at tumi.com. What do you feel like was your aha moment for finding Layla's purpose?
Yeah, it was interesting because I was seeing a continual theme happening in my life of once I had made my journey and like my transition into a more peaceful and, just, focusing on the inner person of me and inner beauty. And I just started being a more happy person. And people were taking notice and asking me, what are you doing? And how can I do this? And so before I knew it, I started becoming like this go-to person for like, advice on things. And even though at that time I did not never saw this where I am now, but at that time I didn't feel totally qualified to like help so many people.
It's like that weird imposter syndrome situation that happens when like people start coming to you because they see a light in you that it's hard for you to see.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. I didn't see it.
I've gone through that too.
I'm like, why me? Like, I don't know. But as more and more people came and would start asking me, I got more confident because then like,
because you're like, I'm the shit.
Yeah.
Like,
well, hey, no, I like that. Okay. Yeah.
Like you have to recognize that too. Like
I take it.
It's like it's a weird situation to be in because you never want to like, I don't know. There's a huge difference, I think, between like self-love and arrogance, but having a strong sense of love for yourself makes you a better community servant, essentially.
It does.
Like you can only give back the best way possible when you're giving back to yourself first.
Absolutely.
So you're great. And at that time we should have known a little bit better, but those are the experiences that you go through finding your purpose.
Yeah.
How would you define that word?
Purpose. Purpose is literally like, it's almost like the same feeling of like your favorite song. Like when you hear a favorite song, like you light up. It puts you in an instant good mood.
It's a great metaphor.
Yeah. And so, thank you. And so your purpose is the same way. You light up. And when anything is going wrong in the world, your purpose puts you back on track. It puts you back on the right path. And again, it's your North Star.
I was waiting for you to say the North Star thing because I wanted to like hear way more about that.
Yeah, it truly is. And it's like the direction that is best for you, where the most energy is going to come to meet you, to help you go forward. Like if you have to go north, right? But then you're going south and you're going east and, all these other directions, west, that energy, all the magnetics are not there to meet you. But when you're on your North Star towards that way, when you're serving your purpose, everything is there to meet you. Everything. Because sometimes all it is it's not that your life is unfulfilling. It's not that you're a bad person. It's not that you have no talent. You're just not serving in your purpose. Once you get in your purpose, you will have so much confidence because it's like you just can't, because that you were made for this. It's just like a car is going to do what a car does. A TV does what a TV does. You're going to do what you were born to do. And so once that clicks, and then everything starts to show up, it manifests. The teachers, the places,
everything
the opportunities.
Falls into place.
Everything, even you fall into place. You know what I mean? Like it's like this world waiting. It's just waiting for you to join and get on the path.
What is yours?
So mine is helping people to vibrate higher and through, whether it's in career, in relationship, the way they eat, in their spiritual life, in healing, just helping people to vibrate higher because we are energy beings and we're these vibrational beings, and everything in the universe is, if you look at it under a microscope, it's just vibrating. Everything's just vibrating energy. And that's all we are.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of finding what it is that helps you vibrate to the frequency you're here to vibrate on. So a bad relationship has you vibrating lower. So, but in order for you to be, say, for you to fulfill your purpose, whatever that is, you need to do in life, there's a certain vibration that you have to live at, a certain frequency you have to live at. Just like a radio station, it has to be tuned to a certain frequency to play. If not, you're going to hear static and you're not going to know what's going on, and people are going to turn it, pass it up, when it could have been a beautiful station to listen to, your favorite possibly, but it just wasn't tuned to the right frequency. So our lives, we're able to live our lives in such a way by our energy, vibration, frequency, so we can live to the right frequency, to the right vibration for what it is we're doing. And then that is where we get all our power, where we start, where the world starts opening up in opportunities, new friendships, better relationships, better, thoughts, better ideas, higher creativity, higher potential, all of that. Yeah.
That's amazing. I know there's no one formula to finding your purpose, but I felt I kind of came up with my own that I felt like helped me define mine years ago, and that was combining something that pains you.
Yes.
With like your talent or your skill, whatever it is. So for me, I felt like my talent and skill was storytelling, and the things that pain me was like violence against women and misrepresentation of minority communities.
That's right.
And so I just knew I wanted to put those two things together, and everything that I did after that, I had to recognize if that was serving the purpose, whether that was like making a documentary or working on a podcast or doing a brand campaign.
Absolutely.
And so it's one of those things that keeps you focused. It becomes your North Star, which I'm totally adopting that. I love that like idea of having the thing that like just keeps you centered in a way that kind of brings harmony to your spirit and to your body. Mm-hmm. Obviously, along the way, there are times where we will have off days and we will lose our sense of purpose, or we won't want to get out of bed today, or we're just like a little bit confused. How do you manage that?
Yeah. On those days, a lot of times I say, one of my quotes I say often is, self-care is how you take your power back. And on those days, all it is, you've given so much away. And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. We deserve to be tired on certain days. We deserve to, to get rest. And sometimes we'll label those days as unproductive, uncreative, or whatever. But anything, we're electrical beings, and we need to charge. And sometimes we can just be, tapped out, poured out. And so it's just a matter of self-care, whether it's taking a hot bath and sea salt, going to get a massage, running, and then totally disconnecting from what it is that you do. Do something completely different so you can just discharge. And then whatever you go do, it'll give you inspiration to refuel and feel like you again.
Love that. There was a New York Times article that was written earlier this year, and it explored the scientific differences between having a purpose and the concept of happiness.
Yeah.
Do you feel like those are, no matter what, just related all the time?
Yeah, I do. I actually do. Kind of almost like passion and purpose, because if you are serving in your purpose, when it's truly purpose, there's joy in it. It could be, no one else can understand this but you, it's something you light up for, and it's something that you do for free. If you could, it's probably something a lot of people who are wondering their purpose now, it's probably something you're already doing and you're really good at. You're not getting paid for it because you don't realize it's a purpose, but it's something that you love. And then the way that manifests can blossom and bloom, but definitely it's going to be something that you have joy in. And if you're down, sometimes getting back to that, again, it's your North Star. It guides you to that higher self and to that, higher joy and this inner light. Yeah.
What are 3 things that you would tell our listeners right now to go and do if they're struggling to find their sense of purpose?
Definitely look at where you're frustrated in the world and with what's going on in the world. Because purpose will always be about service. And sometimes we think...
100% agree with this.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of times we'll think it's about us, but that's when you're living from a place of inner. And again, that's where it's always going to be unfulfilled, unbalanced. It's always going to be chasing, like we talked about earlier. So from a service standpoint, where can you respond to that frustration? And then from there, what gifts do you have? what gifts do you have right now that you can use to respond? Because you have it. You came here with it. It's just a matter of dusting it off, tuning it up, and using it, putting it out there in the world for us to benefit from it.
So wait, you have to give us one more.
Yeah. And so let's see. And well, also think of what other people say that you do good.
That's a great tip.
Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes also people don't realize, like I talked about with me at the beginning, like they were coming to me and I was just living my life, you know, but something that people tell you do you really good, and something that people tell you do really good, and you don't really recognize it for yourself. And you may play it a little bit like, oh, you know, that's not something I would do for a living. But just know that there are different ways to manifest your gift. You know, whether it's communication, there's endless routes that can take, whether it's creativity. But yeah, look at something that people notice that you're gifted at, and because you probably already have an audience. And, you know, you have a cheering team around you. You just you're not connecting the dots yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you don't have a cheering team or you don't have an audience, then just know, even just from my experience, that like living in service of helping others, no matter what it is, whether that's with your time or your money or your skill, will always open up doors and bring you back to, like you say, your North Star, whatever and wherever that may be. But oh my gosh, thank you so much, Layla. I know that this means so much to everyone who's listening.
It meant so much to me as well. Thank you. It's so nice to sit here across from you and do this.
Thank you. We're gonna have to bring you back later this podcast.
I can't wait. I'm already on my way.
For more information on Layla Delia, check her out on Twitter and Instagram at Layla Delia, LALAHDELIA, and go check out her website, vibratehigherdaily.com. And if you want to stay connected with me, you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Noor, Noor, and Twitter at Ntagori, Ntagouri. Can't wait to connect. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of In Progress, presented by Girl Boss Radio in partnership with Toomey. Be sure to tune in to the next episode to hear more from the brightest minds out there, all bringing the real talk to navigating your life and career so you can really take flight. Because, yep, you already know it's a work in progress. And be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the 10 episodes.